What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. You're watching this video on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025 at 10:50 a.m. MST. I don't think I have an extra per se, other than Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It has been so amazing seeing God's timing and shifting across the gap here to our new place and merging into season 6, but it has been a very rugged last 11 days. I was in the hospital with respiratory distress and the whole 9 yards, and I'm feeling super weak, but God is encouraging me. In the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, it says that King Nebuchadnezzar set up a huge idol in honor of himself and told everyone that they had to worship this idol, and if they didn't, he would cast them into a fiery furnace. So it was gaining compliance through shock and awe tactics. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said that they would not bow down to the idol, and so King Nebuchadnezzar called them before himself. When he asked them to bow down, they said, "We will not bow down, and if you throw us into the fiery furnace, our God will save us, and even if he doesn't, we're still not bowing down." Well, that declaration made King Nebuchadnezzar super mad. It says he flew into a blind rage and commanded that his strongest warriors tie them up and throw them into a fire that had been heated 7 times hot. So King Nebuchadnezzar brought the destructive power of the furnace to perfection and had his strongest men bind the 3 men and then ordered them to be thrown into the fire. As these mighty warriors carried Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego towards the furnace, it says that the furnace was so hot that it killed the men who were carrying them. Now, I think Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't thrown into the fiery furnace. I believe that they actually wormed their way into the fire. Now, think about this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had just previous made a declaration that God was going to save them if King Nebuchadnezzar threw them into the fire. And I think they were actually encouraged when their guards fell down dead around them. These mighty, mighty warriors who were probably way stronger and way tougher than Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had all succumbed and died under the heat of the fire that they were approaching. So if they died and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't die, it was God's confirmation to them, kind of an hors d'oeuvre on the way, if you will, that God was fulfilling their declaration that he was going to save them. I think at that time that they gained encouragement, that they gained hope in their process, and I think started worming themselves towards the fire to jump into the flames rather than being thrown in. I have to think that all sorts of messed up King Nebuchadnezzar's mind, that he was just living on sheer rage and power and demonic influence, and was just gloating in the fact that these 3 were going to be thrown into this fiery furnace and destroyed, and he was going to be proven powerful. But instead, his men fall down dead, and the 3 men start worming their way forward into the fire. It had to be a massive slap to the face. But then it says that as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell down into the fire, that one who was glowing appeared with them, walking with them in the midst of the fire, and that they began to praise God and thank him in the midst of the fire. At the end of it, then, it says that King Nebuchadnezzar called the 3 out of the fire, and when they were inspected, it says that they were free, that their bonds had been burned off, that they didn't smell like smoke, and not a hair on their head was singed. My encouragement to you out of this season that I've been going through is that I've begun feeling super tired as I consider where we're at in this series that I'm about halfway through recording my videos. On November 14th of 2021, I'll be halfway through, and just thinking, wow, man, this is how far we've come, and I've not even made it halfway through. I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I should lay down my sword. Maybe I should take a knee, and especially with this COVID in my back and just the persistent pain and sickness over these last few days has just pummeled me. But in this story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the encouragement is that darkness plays with shock and awe tactics, but that our God is greater. That whatever situation in life that you're in, if you're experiencing massive pushback, that you don't know if you can go on, put your hope in God. Make declaration, God will save me in this life. And even if He doesn't and I die, He will save me in the next. But I will not bow down to false gods and their power. That could look like all kinds of things in your life. In my life, it's this wonderment of, what am I doing? Can I go on? I'm so tired. So that's what it looks like for me. But maybe it looks like in your life, you don't know whether or not you can keep pushing forward in the business that God has called you into, or whether or not you can press through the difficulty of your marriage, or push through the difficulty of this season in parenting, or push through this difficult season with friends that you may be in wrong relationship with, and things are very tense. My declaration to you, though, is that our enemy is going to come against you, and he's going to set something before your life that looks like the perfection of destruction. So in my life, it looks like a loss of strength, a loss of comfort, a loss of security, a loss of predictability, that it just looks like chaos on the horizon and it's never going to stop. That's a fire that's heated perfectly for me. But look for your life for things that may be, they're perfectly tailor-made, heated 7 times hot to threaten you with destruction, and that there are things that are just coming around you that are way stronger than you, that are binding your hands and seeking to take your freedom, and are just going to deliver you into this destruction. But as you move forward in the declaration of God, that you'll begin to have hope, that God will start to bring people around you to give you hope and encouragement, to show you that He is confirming His word to you. And that as you press forward in His heart and His character into the very thing that threatens to swallow you whole and destroy you, you're going to find Jesus in that space in a new way. I don't know whether or not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego felt the fire, the heat, the biting sting of the flames, or whether they were just completely at comfort. Doesn't matter. Either way it plays, in that they chose to praise God in the midst of the fire, and that Jesus Himself was manifest to them in a new way. And as a result of having come through that fire, when they came out, the bonds that had formerly bound them had been burned off. They'd been invited into a greater freedom, that those powers that oppressed them, that were superpowers, they were super warriors, they were dead and gone. They could no longer oppress them. And the bonds that they had placed on them had been burned off. They'd been set free as a result of having gone through the fire. Not only so, but those who were under the oppression of darkness, that had been persecuting Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that they saw Jesus, a manifestation of Jesus's person with their own eyes. And so in this season, as we move forward, that as you go through difficult things, as you press through with a declaration of God's goodness to save and going through that season, you're going to meet Jesus in a new way. You're going to become more free, and you're going to reveal Jesus to those around you in a new and powerful way. If you subscribe to what I am doing, hit the button, hit it and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, you didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. I pray blessings on our lives together. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you in the next video, which starts now. I think I'm gonna have to go get some water. Part and parcel of this stupid sickness is your mouth. Well, at least my symptoms, my mouth gets really dry, and I'm very fatigued. I will be right back. Ugh. Ugh. Goodness gracious, can't wait for this to be over. Oof. A little brain fog going on too. Oof. Onwards and upwards. What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And this week, Bill is my extra, and I am the ordinary.